pegged as top 4 material. Vici looked a little bit shaky throughout the year, but the fact that they've made Final Four, I mean, this is Ice's second consecutive Final Four. Actually, this is everybody's on Vici Gaming's, yeah.
They've been here. They have gone deep at the event before. Only one player will have a chance to repeat as TI champions, and even should they win this match, EG will stand in their way. It's either Hao or Xiao8 who will be the one last hope for a first ever international repeat. But there's a long way to go before that, and we jump into the game now. Game 1 has officially begun. LGD on Radiant, Vici on the Dire side here, and let's talk a little bit about the draft blitz. For Vici Gaming, they go for the last pick, Razor, and then LGD go into the Ember Spirit. You had been talking about the possibility of a Storm pick. Well, no surprises there, I guess, but it did feel like a good Storm game for LGD. Not a whole lot of control aside from the Sand King stun, but they don't opt to go that way in the end.
Yeah, and at the same time, they also banned out the Anti-Mage, and so I thought they were setting up for a maybe Storm Spirit, but I mean, he's just as good of an Ember. I actually think this is the best two-way player when it comes to the Spirits. Like Ember Spirit, Storm Spirit maybe is the person that I look to as one of the best for both. They just needed some sort of mobility mid-hero, but I think they favor the Ember Spirit against the Queen of Pain just so you can lock her down. Before she gets something like a BKB or a Yule Scepter even, you can pretty easily kill her with that Sleight of Fist Chains combo.
And they have the Rubik here for MMY, who has gone for boots first, so there is some early roaming potential for this team. And the other big thing that I don't think the analysts really had a chance to talk about because the draft ended almost immediately after that pick was that Flame Guard and Ion Shell together is a devastating combo early game. You just have so much damage that almost nobody can stand against you.
That was actually the point that I was going to bring up. It's really, really strong.
What else you got from me?
Analysis-wise, I mean, LGD early game, they're going to want to take fights before the Sand King gets a Blink Dagger, but as soon as FY does have that Blink Dagger, it's going to be a really weird, tricky timing where from the get-go you can get aggressive, but around the 10 to 15 minute mark, once FY has that Blink Dagger, you just have to play carefully. The problem is that LGD have that Undying, so they want to get aggressive at some points in the game.
They do start Xiao8 off here in the middle lane as the first creep waves will connect. One bounty rune for each team. Super's Razor grabbing one, maybe on the Ember getting the other, and we'll carry out some additional tangos. Not going to be the easiest lane for maybe left alone, and this is why Xiao8 helps him early. But I do want to mention, oftentimes when we see one of those potential jungling supports, like an Enigma Chen, there's a little action on top. Yao taking some damage here. He's not level 2, just said FY wants to go for this. He's committing for it. In goes the Burrow Strike, and out goes the auto attacks. Yao still juking, still juking. They may die on the way out here. They're trapped by the creeps. Uh-oh, FY. He's going to take some harass to K, and one swipe from the zombie man. That's
they're all
down. The Dazzle's going to die here as well. Xiaomi looking for the early double. Only Hao will make it out. Was it worth it? They get the first blood, but they give up 2 blitz.
I don't think so, because all of a sudden Xiao8 is level 2. Hao has to go all the way around the circle, and he's actually got 0 CS the first minute in. Definitely wasn't worth it, especially with the amount of experience that you just gave up. Those are 2 supports that absolutely rely on getting levels, and that's just time that you don't use to stack or do anything else but go for that game.
And speaking of which, the Dire jungle was not contested, and often you'll see teams, when they're up against one of those heroes that can clear the stacks quickly, a level 1 smoke gank just off the bat into their woods before the creep spawn, or at least making some sort of an expedition. But the Vici Gaming jungle is completely open for them to start stacking, and it looks like that'll be the move here for FY. He's going to head in towards the medium camp near the top rune. Probably will try to secure that for Super afterwards. Let's look at our bottom lane here for the Radiant, where it's the Sylar Gyrocopter up against an off-lane clock. Sai's getting his level so far. This is a lane where there's a lot of kill potential for the Gyro if the clock gets caught out.
Yeah, this is the strength of having Sylar play the Gyrocopter. You don't really need a support to hard camp him because he can pretty much zone the Clockwork out by himself, but at the same time, Ice is going to be pretty comfortable with the amount of levels that he's getting. It's hard for MMY to be able to contest him early game, but at some point he does have to worry about that lift into Rocket Barrage combo.
See if MMY makes his move. No smokes picked up on the Rubik as they have settled into dual lanes here. Xiao8 also looking to lane, and well, he's got his boots and magic stick. Yao, no stick just yet, but has the stout. Making it hard for Vici to harass these heroes out, and nobody's an easy kill. In fact, as Fenrir goes in with the poison touch, he went for it early, looking for that first blood, even took it before the Shadow Wave. They will turn this against Hao. Charging forward, the Ion Shell eliminating the creep wave, and Hao taking a beating. He might have to blink away to avoid too much additional harass. I'll hold on to it for now, but even with the boots, this Undying just keeps on running at him. And their cores are farming Blitz, maybe 12 and 5 in the mid lane. He only got a little bit of help from the Undying on that first wave or two. Razor not really shutting him down whatsoever. In fact, maybe now ahead of the Razor by 6 CS, and they're also farming the Gyro. They're getting their levels on Yao. I mean, frankly, it feels like they're winning all 3 lanes at this point.
Yeah, they're doing a really smart job with how they lane. Maybe decided to go for the boots, even over the bottle, just so he could actually sustain against the Razor. And I think that was a really intelligent choice, because most people would just get the bottle blindly. Part of the reasons why the lanes work out, though, is because FY is playing this jungling Sand King, who is just not going to be able to provide a lot of help in that top lane, and he just has to get his levels and focus on farming the jungle stacks. This is going to weaken their lanes greatly.
Speaking of weak lanes, Hao is learning that his is not as strong as LGD's so far without the support of the Sand King. He gets hit once more and instantly forced off, and it does still have the one south, the magic stick up, but they continue to get their experience here. And now the tread's coming out for the gyrocopter of Sylar. Not going for the phase boots here. A little tankier with this build-up. Why, we'll find an invis now. He'll be forced to grab it. Couldn't save it for his mid lane. He may turn on Xiaowei. This is dangerous, though. That's a level 2 tombstone. They'll need to focus it down quickly. He's got the stick charges as well. He's going to pop them. Goes in with the decay. Looks like they'll get the kill. And then turn on the tomb. Vici Gaming, no backup here to protect that tomb. So it ends up being a hero kill and a little bit more. Nice turn of events for them. They'll get the extra 100 gold for the tomb there as well.
Yeah, and FY is just going to go straight back to the jungle and continue to farm it out, but it's going to be a little slow because he doesn't have that level 3 yet. That's what he really needs to speed this process up, and I think that's the only stack in the jungle available for him, and so it's not like he's going to be able to go and do a lot more, because Yao is doing this other stack by himself using the Ion Shell on the creeper.
Yeah, that's the other benefit to this lane here is they get to keep the pressure up on some of the jungle camps. Yao, level 4 now. No real pressure on him from the supports. A lot of the game plan is going to hinge on the FY Sand King, and I mean, if there's anyone you want in this position, it's got to be FY in the support role after what we've seen from his Rubik earlier this tournament. And as Mad mentioned, I believe during the analyst panel, FY Sand King was absolutely magnificent. There used to be a period where they would give away like Enigma when he was a very popular jungler just so they could counterpick with the Sand King. And it got to the point where teams would ban out the Sand King if they wanted their own. But they make the move on mid now. On to Supers, caught out, finished off. Easy takedown, maybe dropping the triple remnant there to secure the kill. And they try to chip at this tower a little bit. Not a whole lot to keep this Ember in place. They need that Blink Dagger Blitz, but it's still a ways off.
And this is why you see Dazzles typically not go for the Poison Touch, just because what it gives you in the lane versus what getting something like Grave would give you when you TP in. You don't really deter anybody when you've got level 1 Poison Touch.
And they know he's got it as well. So
yeah, exactly. He would have used the heal at top if he had that opportunity. And at the same time, LGD doing a good job of punishing this Razor pick. We saw it yesterday, actually. The limitations of Razor as a hero mid is that you can't really go around ganking. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. You're incredibly reliant on haste runes, which maybe just picks up.
Maybe S4 should be playing more Razor in the future then.
Yeah, and you can't jungle. That's probably the biggest thing, is that it's just incredibly inefficient to jungle if you're behind. You're a static laning hero, meaning that your laning phase has to go exceedingly well. You can't just have a neutral laning phase, but maybe he's even winning in the CS regard, so this Razor pick just isn't paying off.
Speaking of haste runes, maybe's the one that's bottled one up. His remnants are recharging now. There is a Radiant, or a Dire Hill Ward that spots this rotation from Yao. This will make his way in mid, and it seems they want to move maybe off the lane. Something Vici probably can read, though, just because they did see the Darkseer show his head as maybe backed off, and now they smoke. They're moving. Or does LGD want to strike first? MMY in front. Should be able to breach high ground here. It seems like they want to slow down the Sand King jungle game of FY. As Super and Fenrir look to break this, they're going to engage now. Level 2 Burrow Strike available, and they will drop the ward. Super getting caught out. There's the 2 arrow chains, maybe popping the haste and using it to run away. Now the hook from Eyesight. He only connects on his own teammate. Not the best counter initiation as of yet, but they finish off the tombstone. MMY forced back. Super chasing in, and Yao surges himself away. Xiaowei gets low. Again, the chains, but everybody tanky and healthy until the Gyro comes in from behind. Sylar finding the opening, 2 down, and Vici in a headlong retreat maybe. He wants a bit more here. They actually have the surge and a remnant or 2 available, but he's not going to commit for this.
Oh, he is so low.
In, and he will find the Rubik. Still going north is maybe he wants something else here. He's looking for Super. He turns back onto FY, who does manage to dodge the chains courtesy of the Sandstorm, but still FY finished off in the LGD, cleaning up this VG Gaming jungle. It's 3 down. It may even be 4. Hal's out of mana now. He's got 2 stick charges, no TP scroll. Buys his Gloves of Haste in a bit of a panic. The Sand King even falling there in the end, and just a disastrous jungle hold for Vici Gaming.
that's the strength of Sylar as a player. He's one of those carries that is always willing to carry a TP around. And you saw him just TP into the mid lane, immediately walk over because he anticipates the team fight, and that turns it around completely. That's the power of the Rocket Barrage, plus an Ember Spirit who's had a really good start in the mid lane. On top of that, you saw that combination that we talked about early on in the game. The Ion Shell plus Flame Guard combination, almost nobody wanted to be near that Ember Spirit.
And he had the haste rune, which just makes it even more difficult for them. Didn't find the best hook there on Ice 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 either. Maybe something that could have changed the fight if he's able to lock down one of the backliners. But Vici Gaming, still the Blink Dagger in the works here for FY. They did get a ward down, but it was immediately dewarded by Vici after the fight. So there's no vision, there's no tracking of FY here. But that does not deter LGD, who go right back to the well as they move through the river, heading north. FY in a pretty good position to reveal this one, and he's getting a bit suspicious. He backs off up a cliff. And now Fenrir, the man who may get caught out. How far do they want to go? Oh, ward drop, but it's just the nick of time for MMY to find Fenrir and look to make him meet his maker. He's on the back foot, and yeah, creeps are there. Not going to help him. Gets off a nice heal bomb, but it only delays the inevitable, as he will fall in the end. So the split push will come from Super. He works on the mid lane, bottom Ice Ice Ice, working towards the Urn of Shadows. LGD, looks like they may want to continue pushing this top lane now. Xiao gets his arcane boots. That can fuel the push. He's almost got the level 4 tomb here. They will keep the pressure up. Call down at the ready. How hiding in the trees. Has the Sonic Wave available. No epicenter just yet. They can maybe set up for a kill here onto Sylar with the full combo, but you have to worry about the counterplay from Xiao. Vici will end up just backing off and playing defense.
At the same time, Hao's just kind of sitting here. He's not able to get any levels, and LGD, this is a really aggressive lineup that we've seen from them, and they're going to go on top on Sylar. He might instantly get blown up, and he does.
Beautiful combination there. Taking down a very farm gyrocopter, leader in terms of CS, not quite in terms of net worth. But that man, the title still goes to Maybe for that. He pushes in the mid lane, clears out the wave. They're applying a lot of pressure here, and again, he feels very safe to move around the map until the FY Blink comes out. Speaking of which, is very, very close, and we cannot see LGD able to stop this any longer. They've used quite a few of their smokes, and at this point, only down to one in the in the inventory of the shop, and seems they want to hold on to it for now. So FY will get his blink. He hits level 6. Still only a level 2 burrow, though. Let's see what he can do once he picks it up.
And this is a really absurdly farmed Maybe right now. He's got 3 kills, 50 CS. For an Ember Spirit who's meant to lose his lane in the middle lane.
His first a Razor.
Yeah, exactly. He should be about 1,500, maybe even 2K behind in net worth, but...
And he's almost 1,000 ahead.
Yeah, it's really difficult right now for Super to do anything because he just has to kind of come back to this mid lane, hope for the best. If they decide to gank him, there's not a whole lot he can do in response. And it's hard. And they're going to smoke.
They are going to smoke again here.
Oh, if they go for mid again, I mean, this would just ruin Super's game.
7 minutes cooldown on the smoke. LGD just all in as far as their smokes go on dominating this laning stage. They will move into the jungle. FY has already secured the blink, and he's actually heading towards bottom.
He doesn't have a TP, though.
Oh, he's not available here to help out Hao. A tough target to wrangle. They will drop an Observer Ward for now, and it is out of range here of the Dire Sentry. They're still stalking towards this Vici Gaming base. They're about to find 2 heroes, but it's a long dive. Very dangerous to commit around the tier 3 towers. LGD. And third smoke won't connect. Now the hook though. Ice Ice Ice, he's found one. It's MMY. Looks for the 2-hero cog pushback, but instead the tomb gets dropped. He finds nobody. Maybe looking to turn this. They chain and isolate Ice Ice Ice, who drops the cogs and is just going to hang on for dear life. Remnant out available. Maybe going in with auto text. Yao finally will fall here. The grave on Ice Ice Ice, keeping him alive. They're forced to jump Maybe back, but charging in is Sylar, who pounds his way right through the dazzle that was on mid. Now the call down. Blake Burrow from FY. Where's that MP? He does have the clarity, but no mana. Super just taking it in the mouth. He can't hang on. FY, can he turn this? It's Hao who does. Makes it 3. It's 4. The lone survivor, Sylar, limping away on 50 HP. My oh my, it turns out they didn't even need an epicenter that fight.
And that's the scary thing right now for LGD, because that was a fight that looked really advantageous for them. They immediately catch Ice Ice Ice. It took them so long to do damage to him. He actually had 1,100 HP, and they couldn't burst through that, even though it was 4v1. FY didn't even get an opportunity, and the rocket
got him! It's a 5-man wipe. Vici Gaming standing strong and turning this one early on its head. Let's see what more they can do. Ice 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 getting aggressive here, and he sees they have 2 heroes great at clearing the Ancient, so he's going to drop a ward there, blocks the stacking potential. And he is rotating towards top. He gets a lane ward down on Yao. Is he going to go for the solo kill? You can see it. He wants to. But he needs a little more backup, which is coming in now. It's Hao with a DD rune directly above this hook shot. They've isolated Yao. There's no backup in sight. One auto tech, maybe two should do it. And Yao, the next man to fall. 6 kills in a row here for Vici as they continue to plow ahead. MMY just a bit late on the counter rotation. And Hao will blink into the trees. He's not TPing out yet. He has the ward. He's hoping to see the squishy Rubik poke his head out. And he's found MMY, but has to be worried about the lift under tower and the counterplay. MMY, a creep from 6, and now he's got it. Could go for the spell steal. This is making Hao a bit more nervous. Was hoping for that rocket to connect, but Hao, in the end, seems you won't find the easy takedown. LGD are going to back off towards mid.
And that DD rune at the same time, it expires, and Hao's just continuing to wait for here, and now he blinks out, and this is going to tell LGD, okay, we made the right play. The ward was definitely there, but the sentry's just outside of vision, and that's an easy call for them to make that the ward is there, especially if Hao's just waiting in their blind for over 35 seconds.
You see the rocket coming like that as well, and you just get really suspicious. Why is there a rocket there? Nobody was low. They probably have some idea of a potential kill in this lane. Ice now picking up his Staff of Wizardry, and well, still a close game here early. It's been pretty back and forth in terms of the momentum swings, but they've overall been relatively small ones. What do you see as the next step here for Vici Gaming Blitz? They have the Blink Dagger and FY. He's picked up 2 smokes, and he has the level 4 burrow. Good aggressive wards are up. What's your move as Vici?
Just start smoke inking like crazy. You can go for kills on maybe if you have Hao there, who's almost completed the Orchid. Going for the Roshan probably isn't feasible, but you've got 4 smokes available to you. And yes, LGD were winning the early game, but that was on the back of the fact that they used 4 smokes really early. Half of them didn't pan out for them. 2 of them led to, what, a 3 kill? But aside from that, Vici Gaming, they've got so much more room to work with when it comes to map control. They can pretty much go wherever they want at this phase of the game. You have no idea how much smoke matters when you can't really get a gem this early on in the game, and you can't justify one either. And so LGD's really going to struggle at this phase of the game. They pretty much just have to wait behind each other in anticipation for things like this.
Ideally, during that time, you'd love to be stacking, and there's an illusion here that attempted to do it just a moment ago for maybe at the Ancients, but that ward also hasn't been dewarded, and it's going to slow down the economy.
Vici is thorough.
Yeah. They're not making it easy here. We'll work on the creep wave. Maybe he'll eat a heal bomb for his insolence. Ice. Moves towards the bottom lane. Nobody even showing on this side of the map. They're literally just 5-manning around the tier 1 tower and their own jungle, terrified of the moves Vici can make. And this is with every tower up blitz. It's not like they've actually lost the points of control. They just don't have the confidence to get out and get active.
It's just when you know a team hasn't attempted a smoke ink the entire game, and you're waiting for it. You're just in anticipation. And
I think they've also probably seen FY's inventory at some point.
yeah, and what also helps is that FY isn't showing himself on the map, and he's not walking through wards. Those are 2 really key points, because that means LGD have no idea where he is half the time. He doesn't just show himself on the map at all times. He'll just poke his head, wait for farm, and notice he does that at top too. He makes it a point not to show himself no matter what. He doesn't even bother farming jungle stacks.
He knows he'll catch up if he has the one big fight. You get the epicenter burrow strike, you get involved in a kill or 2. Any amount that you fall behind experience-wise will come right back your way from the kills themselves. It's just blood that FY wants right now. LGD raining the full 5-man squad in on mid. Hook shot's ready, and Ice moves into position from the south. Coming back from behind the towers, Fenrir. They surge, maybe, but he doesn't really want to go in. And the tower will end up falling. They even popped the mech. It is a tower down for LGD, but while that was all going on, Super took a freebie bottom, and they're also going to take top as well. Glyph is used. Sylar burrowed. FY takes the tower. He blinks out. Nice little individual play there. Getting 2 towers for Vici Gaming for the 1 of LGD. And you can really start to see it, not so much in the gold graph, but especially in the experience where, despite no kills for some time, they're now up to a 3,000, almost 3,500 experience lead.
And what helps Vici a lot is that Hao's about to finish that Orchid, and that gives him solo kill potential, and in these team fights, it's going to allow him to just force the Ember Spirit to never walk in. Like, maybe he has to play this so cautiously at this phase of the game. This might actually even force him to go for a Manta style or something defensive, and just so he can survive.
And if you do that, unlike, say, an anti-mage, like, that's a big win, because Manta is not normally the best Ember item, so it'll delay his farm progression, it'll delay the potential late game that LGD look for, where they've got 2 big AoE damage dealers in the Gyro and the Ember. So
they know Sylar's alone by himself.
He's pretty far here. BKB not quite ready yet, and they're going to go FY with the burrow to start. How follow up with the Scream, looking for the Sonic Wave, not using it yet. They use the Epi instead. FY strikes and gets closer to level 10. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, maybe was chasing out Fenrir, but he'll just TP away after the chains get used. So LGD unable to find the counter thrust. It's another kill for Vici, and it's on a big core here. Despite not having the best control for an Ember as far as heroes go, they now are going to get it. The Orchid of How is officially online. He's still got the Sonic Wave. He sounds up. He wants to make this work for him and his team as soon as possible. Already just rushing down this top lane.
And LGD, they don't... How long until their next smoke, actually? Okay, they have one smoke. This has to count, LD. They actually have to get so much out of this.
I almost feel like they don't want to use it right now. I feel like they just want to sit back and farm and just try to wait out Vici, get the BKB on the gyro of Sylar up, and get maybe's first item. You mentioned Manta. Do you think he has to go Manta? Can he risk a Battle Fury, or is that just too greedy here?
You go for the Battle Fury and you get Orchided up, all your net worth goes away. Then the Battle Fury is almost completely pointless. You could maybe just sit behind the power of the Gyrocopter and the Undying, but...
And kind of bait your team a little bit.
Yeah, but even that isn't the best play that you could possibly make. Maybe LGD do wait to use the smoke, but I think it's better for them to use it and maybe contest that bottom tier 1 tower, or wrap around and try to look for a kill. You have to open up the map though and find some space, because they have no idea where the wards are from Vici Gaming. They can't really play aggressively because they know that Vici Gaming has smokes of their own. So this makes it really difficult for LGD to play anything other than 5-man. Once they completed the mech on Yao, they decided to take that mid tower because they felt, okay, we have to eventually leave our base, but you're probably waiting for your next major tier item, which is going to be Sylar's BKB, and then after that, you have to start getting aggressive.
Well, maybe still saving his gold. It seems like he wants to see if they can win a fight before he decides. You're up to 3,700 already. Really does want that Battle Fury, it feels. But not spending the gold yet, and Sylar will close in on his BKB. Scouting in front. Uh-oh. Double sentry, and they found him. Maybe caught out. The silence is there. Well, he's going to pay for that. Vici were ready. They just knew something was up, and they will punish him. Well, now he's going to still go for the Battle Fury. Looks like he buys 3 of the components. He's not even deterred by it, Blitz, but it may cost him later on.
I feel like that should, once he sees the Orchid too, and that Blink Dagger Sand King, he should tell himself, okay, there's almost no chance
It's funny, like normally the response is like, oh shit, I'm gonna need a Manta here, but his response is, definitely getting a Battle Fury now. Another hook from Ice Ice Ice, this will be out in the Radiant jungle. Completely caught out, he'll pop the mech, he hangs on, but he can't get away. No force step to save him. And they are engaging with the, watch out for FY. He gets lifted, he's got the epicenter, they drop the tombstone in time, and they will bring him down. Tomb gets killed off, but no epi for this fight. Didn't even get a chance to channel it. Super with his own BKB moving in. Xiaowei very slow here. Can't get away. It's up to Sylar. Doesn't have the BKB. Remnants have arrived. Maybe trying to turn this, but he's fighting into 3. Can he finish off How even? The Grave! He can't do it. It's 4. Maybe remnanting away and just running for dear life. The creep's almost catching him out, but he will escape in the end. And again, another one fight for Vici without the Epi Blitz. They just don't need it.
It's just a superior vision in these fights. Vici Gaming have a lot more to work with when it comes to farm. That Queen of Pain scares maybe so much. He can't actually just walk into the fight blindly and start casting abilities. He has to play the spacing game, but when your team gets caught out like that and you don't have a BKB completed yet on your Gyrocopter, you've got no frontline tank that prevents them from just going on you. And we saw that right there. Is maybe the other issue is that Grave is just doing absolute work. He can't just stand there and say, okay, maybe he'll miss the spell. He has to hard commit for it, but every single time he does, he'll die.
Yeah, I mean, the accidental self-cast is not something you really want to build your game plan around here for LGD. And the frontline tank on paper, it could be an Undying. Xiaowei had a good start, but he's just playing too much of that support role. He's not really getting all that much farm, and they're not really getting much use out of the Tombstone. The Razor's able to focus it down, and even the Queen of Pain does pretty good physical damage now. About 140 a pop. It feels like without the Tombstone and without the BKB on Gyro, the team fight just isn't really there for LGD.
Yeah, they're actually going to have to wait for the Battle Fury to complete and then for Sylar to get that BKB. Like you said, they've saved up that smoke. They don't have one for another 8 minutes. Whatever smoke timing comes, they actually have to win the fight at that point, or it's just going to be a waiting game for them where Vici Gaming can just farm out the entire map because they have superior vision. They can get a gem if they want at some point on either of their cores and give it to the supports just to deward. And at the same time, they've got more smokes to work with, and so they can just get all the map control in the world that they want, and you're seeing that here.
we are seeing it for most of the heroes, but maybe is getting out on the map. He's not deterred by this Queen of Pain Orchid, and they do have some Radiant Wards now in their own jungle, and this lets him know that he's safe to go aggressive on the top lane, Battle Fury complete in the stash. He is fighting his farm here, Blitz. The rest of the team falling behind, but we've seen this from Maybe. I mean, you go back to the opening group stage game where LGD took on Cloud9, and it was an absolute thriller, and Maybe just made all the individual plays in the world. It seems like that's where LGD are headed. Just bank on the Ember Spirit, getting out of control, play defensive, turtle around him. Let your focal point for now be Sylar's BKB, and let Maybe be the person who pushes you over the top later on.
I think they should smoke for this and try to go for the wraparound. They've got the BKB completed on Sylar. They don't have the best team at holding this high ground area. But
Comes the weave.
I mean, they feel confident.
Ice does have a hook. Can he bait out the Sylar BKB and just try and force a fight from there? Also has his own Force Staff ready, so he can quickly disengage. On the side of LGD, no Force Staff yet. Yao is going towards one. Hasn't completed it. He's actually only about 75 gold here away. Well, another Force Staff. This one for Vici. Item we haven't seen a whole lot of coming more into play here. Top lane slowly getting pushed down for the Radiant. So too is the mid. And LGD holding very far back. Courier even coming over the tree line a bit. Not sure what he's up to. Just maybe doing a bit of scouting. He's in a dangerous position to get picked off. And LGD just turtling. They're holding the tower. The tier 2 not claimed. It's going to be a second weave from Fenrir as the slow chip continues. Another rocket from Ice. Still just looking for the right opening. They don't want a hard commit. They want to find that quick, clean pickoff. Maybe he's actually the man in front, trying to bait this a bit. They want them to go on him. They have the Force Staff to counterplay.
Maybe he's in vision. He's going to go in now.
He's going to engage. There's the chains. He jumps out instantly, hoping to force out something from Vici, but the tower is being chipped down here. And Super continues to stand in front. Creep's doing the work that the LGD heroes can't on the other lanes. They catch out Super again, trying to really force this BKB, but no one's cooperating. Now the decay. Out goes the tombstone. Vici just want to back and wait this one out. Ice goes in, looking for the cogs. He doesn't pop them in time. He's surrounded by many. They get off a beautiful statically called out there. Guapo over the top, connects on two. Sylar Xiaowei holding their ground for now as MMY has stolen the hook. He goes back in, but it's too late as MMY's already gotten off the up. He hasn't finished off anyone yet, though. Only these backline heroes. Maybe stands, and he looks to turn this as the chains available, but not the vision he needs. Every bit on Vici getting low aside from the Queen of Pain, who is the healthy one that goes in first. Maybe Silence, can they catch him out? This will be a huge takedown. He's kept alive, glimmered back, healed up, survives, and now jumps double remnant away, but it's Hao getting the kills, and Maybe and Sylar are the ones on the run. Hao wants to go for it. He got him! Again, the pick. This might cost him. He's up high. Chains are there. No! The Arcade! Get this man!
He wants it!
It's a rampage for Hao! They are outfighting the crap out of LGD, and they're not going to back down here. They want to clear out this wave. A very prolonged fight. Normally that's where heroes like Ember, Undying excel, but Vici Gaming just outlasted them.
It's just the amount of farm right now. The initiation from Ice, which allowed the Razor to steal so much damage. Vici Gaming, they were patient throughout the entire fight. Sand King comes in with the epicenter at the last second. He was clutch. FY hit multiple hero burrow strikes repeatedly. Fenrir was always there with the shallow grave and the heal. And I mean, LGD, that was a really admirable effort. It looked for half a second like they were going to hold that fight with that mech turnaround, but it's just the amount of farm that they have. And this has to be so scary for LGD because they hit their item timing right there. They got the BKB on Sylar. He's not going to get any items off to the back of that fight. He doesn't have enough gold. That was the fight that LGD had to win to come back into this game. Their heroes aren't going to get stronger from here on out. The Ember Spirit, 146 gold. Xiaowei has a Glimmer Cape. Like, nobody's getting any more items.
And there is a Dazzle on the other team, which means no matter how farmed this Ember gets, if he gets the weave off, and I think he used it twice, maybe even a third time towards the end, there's a lot he can get accomplished. Ice hooking in, he's able to force out a BKB charge, essentially just trading a cooldown that they are unlikely to use anyway. This keeps Sylar back in the lane, and still the aggressive wards. You just gotta look at the map control for Vici. You've brought it up a few times, Blitz, and it continues to be worth repeating that this is the team who has the vision right now. Even though there's some decent wards for LGD, they don't really accomplish anything offensively because they can't get out on the map. They're just not strong in fights. So Vici will take the opportunity, and they walk into the Roche pit. Be a relatively slow going here.
It's almost like they have wards up just to have wards up.
Yeah.
Like, you want some vision on the map. You don't really care where it comes from. You just want some vision to kind of make yourself feel a little bit more safe. But I think LGD, they know about the Roche. They
gonna
have to
fight
take
it.
this fight. This is
that
their
big
only smoke.
It's the big smoke that you mentioned, but Ice is in position. He can completely interrupt
he
this
scouts
chain.
this.
Starts it out. He gets the cogs down. Roche is in danger of dropping. Who's going to get it? Will they go in? Do they engage? Where's the leap? Oh, he's too late. He went for the Remnant, but doesn't find it.
has no BKB.
And now the Aegis on the Queen of Pain, who jumps in, finds the Quapple, driving Sylar back. Ice hurrying him away. And meanwhile, M-Boy also pursuing down M-Boy. They've gotten two. They're looking for the third. And the line of Burrow to get him as well. Oh, we had a big steal there too, Blitz, but never got a chance to grab the epicenter counterplay and use it. They drop 3. They do keep alive the Darkseer and the Ember, but to what avail? Nothing really ventured there by Vici. Just a couple of low cooldown ultimates, and they're going to go high ground with this.
It's going to be so hard for them to stop this too, because maybe he doesn't have quite enough farm, and as long as Vici Gaming stays spread out, Venrir can heal out most of it, and Ice with the semi-jump in, but he doesn't want to hard commit for this. Hit the
They've
tower.
got vision here from Hao. The TP comes in from Xiaowei. FY could go at him. The Orchid to start. He wants FY to engage, but he's not cooperating. FY's looking for the 2-hero burrow. The bigger play. He won't find it. Vici Gaming will back out, but they have done a ton of structural damage here. The glyph was cooling down up in 6 seconds, but it's too late for that push. Still holding on to the Aegis, and Hao will move into a Hyperstone. Feels like it's a pretty good Assault Cuirass game just to be able to break the base.
This just feels like the build that he wants to go for in most games. I think this is actually the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him go for the Orchid and a BKB for the defensive item, and then you get an Assault Cuirass into something like a crit or an MKB if you need it. He just wants to pack a punch. He wants his hero to be able to transition into the late game and be a physical damage dealer when those BKBs are so prevalent. But, I mean, it doesn't even matter because LGD, 2 of those BKB charges were already used on Sylar, and we remember the one at top, which was just traded for a cooldown. That's an 8-second BKB now. And in a fight where you might see multiple Hero Sand King stunts over and over again, he needs that full 10 seconds.
And they don't have the great defensive save of a Grave like the Dazzle can bring to bear here for Vici. It is punishing them. Undying normally pretty good through the early to mid game for that type of thing, but we're getting to that point now where the heal just doesn't stand up to the Vici Gaming damage output. And it is really a different build for the Queen of Pain. I mean, you look at, I think Fada is a great example of a Queen of Pain who got 6 slotted, had the full like caster build. Your Aghanim Scepter, Hex, Refresher, Octarine Core, BKB. But there was one game in the tournament, I remember, where it turned super late and he just couldn't go blow for blow with some of the traditional right-click carries in the game. So we'll have to see if Hao is forced into that position, and if so, if he can withstand the damage LGD bring. For now, they get more active on the map, but they will push out the mid lane here. Seems maybe he's going to begin taking some chances, knowing that if he doesn't get out, Vici will just win by death ball, moving towards bottom. They are strong enough to just clump up now. They've got the advantage they're looking for, 31 minutes in. And that Aegis still sitting on Hao. No Assault Cuirass just yet, but still looking to go. Looks like FY is going to be building towards a Yule Scepter for additional kiting potential and setup here. Point booster coming out for Super, who will go into the Aghanims most likely. Another good item for breaking the base. And LGD are a great high ground lineup. And they go on Sylar to start. Will he BKB? No. Patiently going to back out. Trying to just bait these cooldowns from LGD and then break the base. But for now, they get the glyph out. That's just as good as a BKB. Chains onto Super. Rocket will be dealt with. Still MMY sitting way back, looking for a big spell still. He could be the difference maker for LGD, but they've already lost the tower. FY, a rare miss on the Burrow Strike, and now they engage onto Super. They drop the Tombstone in a very forward position, perhaps too forward. Hao's going to deal with it. No Tombstone for this fight, really.
Oh, the Cogs
now, and there's the Cogs comboed with the Queen of Pain on. They found another kill. Hao just goes in with an epi from FY. They're all dead. Vici wipe them out again, and LGD tap out.
Beautiful team play by Vici Gaming. They all knew when they wanted to go in.
This team has come alive here at the main event. They looked lost in the group stage. They looked like their mojo was gone, but Blitz, they had a pep talk. I just don't know how else to put it. Somebody got through their head,